I don't really get a lot of time to watch movies. So I heard about this movie Pimp from Lee Daniels. I heard it was a little bit like Set It Off, and I did see Set It Off a long time ago when it first came out. And I actually, where I was in my head, I enjoyed the movie. But I did get a chance to see Pimp, produced by Lee Daniels, written and directed by Christine Crocus, Crocras, Crokos, Crocus. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. So I did get a chance to see the movie Pimp. Keke Palmer was in it. Keela and the Bees. One of my favorite actresses. I really enjoyed her. I really enjoyed that movie. So I was basically, when I did see Pimp with her starring in it as Wednesday, I actually got a different perspective of her acting. I'm going to get into that. But for right now, I got to say, with Lee Daniels, his body of work speaks for itself. But I find the content when it comes to black women the same. Even with Precious, Empire, from my perspective, from my point of view, I do not see him using black women in a positive light. And that's just me. And I know there's many different types of solarized sisters. But it's a reoccurring theme with Lee Daniels when it comes to black women. And I find that quite interesting and at times offensive as a black woman, that there's only one dimension, one type of black woman, and it's always that kind of overused view how people see black women in a negative light. There's so many different types of sisters out here that's doing their thing, and it's interesting that he chooses to just focuses on that dimension of that type of black woman. So I actually wasn't feeling that. And as far as a pimp, it just a woman selling another woman. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. But I find it offensive. I find the whole thing, and it's almost like an oxymoron where the character Wednesday, Keke Palmer, played a lesbian in the movie, okay? But the thing that got me is that, and I get confused about, is the love of women with other women, and how if this woman, Wednesday is attracted to another woman, to have her selling her body on the street to justify her paying her bills is not, for me, acceptable. It's something that I find offensive, just by the mere fact that it was her girlfriend. And she did have problems in the beginning with her going out, having her girlfriend go out, but at the end, she really got in the rhythm of it, and to the point where she disrespected her partner, somewhere down the line in the movie, So it was almost like the worst kind of guy you could date that just happens to be a woman. And it's just so, it's just weird to me that another woman would actually put another woman out on the street and sell her as a prostitute. And the most weird thing is that it was her girlfriend. Over this type of movies that we put black women in, I want something different. I expected something different. No disrespect to Christine, the writer, Crocra. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Writing and directing this type of movie, and I think her being a woman who loves other women, a lesbian, to portray this one-dimensional aspect of a character. A lot of times, me as a woman, to see another woman put out there in such a bad light, and then by another woman, it just almost makes me feel a little disappointed with the creative process, and how we in 2019 can't really get it together to put women in a different light. There's women that's running for office, some powerful women that are running for Congress, running for office. Those are the kind of characters that that I really want to see. I want to see those kind of women who are shifting and changing the world from a very patriarch, misogynist society. It really makes me sick. And it really makes me feel a way when I see another woman being as misogynist as a man. So it's not something that's acceptable. It's quite disturbing to see a woman put another woman on the street to sell her body for money, and it just didn't cut it for me. Now, the part about the movie that got me, I gotta say, was the mother-daughter relationship. In the movie, the character protagonist Wednesday has a very interesting relationship with her mother. Now, it's pretty dysfunctional, as you know. Her father's a pimp, and her mother was her father's number one prostitute girl. And so she got pregnant with, by the pimp, and he took her off the street, but they were both junkies. So the character Wednesday as a child was basically expected to take on her father's empire as far as being a pimp. So that to me was interesting, and I must say disturbing, to say the least. So when I was watching the movie, I did get a look into the relationship between the two characters, the mother-daughter relationship. Even towards the end, when it was coming towards the closing of the movie, where the mother was locked up again and the daughter went to see her for the last time, and she asked a very important question that really sent chills in my spine, because I could relate. I could relate to this part where she's asking her mother, and her mother seems a bit narcissistic. Not a bit. Her mother is narcissistic. It's always about her and her only, and all of the sob stories why she's a junkie, and blaming it on someone else, not really taking full responsibility of her behavior. And so the daughter goes to see her Wednesday for the last time, and she asks her mother a very important question. I think everybody in the room got chills. I know I did. Do you love me? Have you ever loved me? As a daughter is asking her mother this really powerful question. And the mother dodged the bullet. She dodged the thing. She said, I gave you life. I had to go out and sell my body just to feed you. Your father left me. The guilt. Your father left me. And so, in the end, finally, she asked her, she owned up to it. The mother said, no, I never loved you. I never loved you. And that part out of the whole movie got me. It really took it home for me, because I can relate to having a mother who's narcissistic, and having a mother who just thinks about her and her only. Yes, she did have me as a child, and in the movie, the mother had the child, but out of almost like an accident. She got pregnant by her pimp. So and the mother, in the movie, even said, I didn't plan on being a mother. It kind of just happened. So it just really spoke volume to me out of the whole movie, because even Miss Palmer's performance, it was okay. The acting wasn't 100%. It didn't convince me 100%. I didn't really get into her character, Kiki's character. It was okay. Part to me, the real essence for me was between the mother of the child and the mother, and two women, and this girl being a lesbian, loving women. She goes to her original, the mother, and she asks the mother, did you ever love me? And that makes sense throughout. Now it made sense to me in the movie why she responded to women like she did, and why she did the things that she do. Not justifying it, but I can see the pattern now clearly, based on where it came from, and basically unresolved issues, of course, but the not having the love of a mother is quite painful, especially when you're in a relationship with someone who brought you in the world, and you are programmed really to love this person, but the person doesn't have it and don't know how to love. to the point where it's obvious that the mother can't love herself because she's a junkie, and she keeps inflicting pain on her body and going in and out of jail, and the daughter keeps taking her out of jail. So for me, the biggest part about the movie was not so much about the pimp game. It was about the love of one's mother. Two women connecting or not connecting, and where that stemmed from, where the pain is coming from, and not really. I'm not gonna put the blame on her, but the mother was damaged, you know. And the question that, and the movies that I kind of want to see, because I'm a little over it, that we have pain. I'm looking for a solution, and I didn't really. The solution was that I'm not gonna tell the end of the movies. You got to see the movie, but the solution was predictable. It was predictable to the point where it was just the shooting out, the violence, now you know the women are shooting each other and selling each other's bodies for money. I've seen enough of that from the from the pimp movies from the 70s. So it's almost like it's just being revamped with just women characters, and you know women proving that they're just as tough as a man. From that movie is that the protagonist, the young lady, was portraying the worst embodiment, behavior patterns of the worst man on the planet. It could be black, white, whatever, but it's like the worst character of a man that you can ever emulate. And it was disturbing because it was very low grade. There was no love of the person's self and love of other people. It was just very misogynist, very painful. As far as the characters, there was no resolution of peace. The mother ended up where she ended up, and the daughter ended up where she ended up, and it was just really sad, you know. So, looking for new movies, and I'm gonna keep you guys posted. But that movie, I can honestly say, I wouldn't see it a second time around. For me, once was enough. And I wouldn't take my child to see that movie at all. I kind of just saw it out of curiosity. Lee Daniels, I wanted to see if he was still doing the same genre as far as dealing with black women and a vision, how he portrays black women in his movies, and just and what I thought was interesting is that Christine, the director writer, who seems to be a woman that's a lesbian, wrote something like this, and we had enough of these kind of movies. So with that being said, I want new energy. I would like to see it. I'm going to report back to you any type of movie that I find, and I'm going to give you my intake, but that's my intake. I would actually give it a thumbs down. I don't think it's anything that you could take away and walk away with at the end of the movie enlightened or feel better about life. Like I said, the only thing I got was the mother-daughter confrontation, the mother-daughter face-off that really shocked me. But it wasn't new. You know what I mean? It was pretty much, even in that department, predictable. But it was just interesting to see and hear the mother say, "I never loved you. I didn't love you." So yeah, that's my 2 cents right there. So I'm putting it in. If you guys want to see it, help yourself. But I stated my 2 cents, put my 2 cents in. So if anybody's interested in feedback or wants to put their 2 cents below, please feel free. Won't get offended. Love to hear what you have to say. So until next time, I'll bring the popcorn. Hey! All right, guys. Have a good one.